Inevitably, when you talk about Pixel devices, something that you hear brought up all the time from people who maybe aren't fans of the brand of the Google Pixel phones is that they run the Tensor processors, and these processors are inferior to Snapdragon processors. Now, typically, that is based around sheer performance. People say that these processors are simply slower than the Snapdragon competitors. So if you buy a Pixel Fold and you do speed tests versus a Z Fold 5, that Z Fold 5 will have higher benchmark scores. It is a faster device. Now, we could get into that subject about what benchmarks mean compared to actual real world performance, and you could put the two phones side by side and have them compete doing tasks. That's a whole conversation. But I want to isolate one specific thing that does get mentioned occasionally, but I think is a far bigger problem for the Tensor chips than raw performance. People often make a big deal about heat as well, tie that in with efficiency, but in my testing, thin devices like these foldables all get fairly hot. Pixel Fold does get a little bit hotter than the rest. You see, even though the Tensors may be a little bit slower in some tasks than Snapdragon processors, they're still really fast, okay? Like, it's still a fast phone because all phones are fast, but there is something about Pixel phones running Tensor chips that I think is below where they should be, and that is with modem performance. As I've talked about on this channel a whole bunch, my sim is constantly switching between the Pixel Fold and the OnePlus Open, and when I do this, the biggest thing that I notice between these two devices is not that the OnePlus Open is faster than the Pixel Fold. I literally never feel any difference there at all. If anything, the Pixel Fold feels more consistently smooth than the OnePlus Open. The thing that I consistently notice is the modem performance. Even though the OnePlus Open has had some modem issues, some updates have tried to address these things, it is still the more consistent device in two really big areas. One is simply with the quality of the signal. There are areas where the Pixel Fold wants to kind of grind to a halt, where the OnePlus Open maintains speed. Now, we're talking about the Pixel Fold is not loading anything. The OnePlus Open is loading things very slowly, but that's an important distinction. The OnePlus Open seems to hold the signal a little bit better, and there are likely other phones that I could put my sim in that would do better than the OnePlus Open, and therefore much better than the Pixel Fold or any other Pixel device in the house that runs a Tensor chip. Now, the other big thing, and I think this is even bigger of a problem, is with regard to efficiency and battery life. When I'm just home all day and I'm on Wi-Fi, my Pixel Fold battery is great. I might get 7 or 8 hours of screen on time on my Pixel Fold. But if I go out into the world and I'm running 5G all day, that battery life is going to drop precipitously. I might now be in the 4, 5, 6 hour screen on time instead. It is a major detriment to the battery. And look, that's true on any device, right? Like the OnePlus Open's battery life is worse on 5G than it is on Wi-Fi, but it's not that big of a jump. Let's face facts. The modem in the Tensor chips has always been less efficient. Today, we're going to look at a news story that hopes to point towards some improvement in that direction. We're going to look at this article here on Android Authority, written by Camilla Wojciechowska. Glad to see them leaking stuff once again. Breaking news exclusive, they say. Google Pixel 9 series to get emergency satellite connectivity and a new modem. So I'm going to gloss over a lot of the text in this article, primarily because I want you to click on the link in the description and go read the article yourself. But I do want to look at this table that was produced here in the middle of the article, because it kind of breaks this stuff down really nice and succinctly. So we have the original Tensor, okay, and it ran the Exynos 5123 modem. It was not a great modem. Then with the G2 and G3, we jumped up to the 5300 modem. Now, this was a pretty big improvement, but it still lags behind where competitors are today. And with the Tensor G4, word from Camilla here is it's going to be jumping up to the Exynos 5400 modem. And hopefully, this is going to be another step in the right direction. I also want to point out here that Camilla wrote that that's going to be the processor and the modem for the Pixel 9 series, for the next-gen Pixel Fold, and for a 5G compatible tablet that they have heard Google is in the early stages of developing, codenamed Clementine. That's a really interesting little snippet, but not the topic of this video. Now, Camilla also mentions that this Exynos 5400 modem will apparently support satellite-based messaging. And of course, Android 15 has taken some pretty major steps towards better supporting that technology. If you don't know what we're talking about here, basically, if you're out stranded somewhere and you have no cell signal at all, in the future, phones with compatible hardware and compatible software will actually be able to connect to a satellite in order to send a text message. Not make a phone call, but potentially send a life-saving text message. Now, this apparently initially will be provided by T-Mobile in collaboration with SpaceX, but hopefully it expands to other carriers and other providers after that. One more really interesting snippet here is this first, actually two things. One, we have this little animation here that they've actually been able to surface where it shows sort of the alignment that's going to be needed in order to get that satellite connectivity. So this is a type of thing where you're not just going to be bathed in that cellular signal. You're going to have to kind of aim it at the satellite to get to connectivity. But the other thing here is that there is a snippet of code that was found that says to connect to the satellite, unfold your phone and rotate it blank degrees counterclockwise. Now, this would imply that this technology is going to be compatible with a folding device. We know that the Pixel Fold 1 is not compatible, but the Pixel Fold 2 might be if it does indeed have this Exynos 5400 modem, which is in the Tensor G4, another sign pointing towards the Pixel Fold running the Tensor G4, skipping the G3, which then brings into question, when would this device be released? Will it show up before the Pixel 9 and actually debut the G4, or will its release be delayed and it will be launched alongside the Pixel 9? Hard to say currently. But anyways, guys, this is definitely encouraging to see. After the G3 stuck with the same lackluster modem as the Tensor G2, I think it's really good to see that Google is going to be upgrading this modem once again for the G4. And look, the satellite connectivity thing is definitely interesting, but for me, the biggest thing is hopefully this thing just works better and is more efficient. That is what we need. The G4 should be faster than the G3, right? This thing should be taking another step in the right direction as Google does move towards the goal of a fully custom Tensor chip with the G5, hopefully manufactured by TSMC and not Samsung Foundry. But for now, the Tensor 4 looks to be a decent upgrade, and hopefully the modem is going to be a big part of that. Again, check out the link in the description down below for the full article. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.